Hello, I'm doing my health history video today. This is my patient's media release form. Okay. I am looking at her medical history right now and I will point out all the yes answers. So she said yes to anemia or bleeding problems. She's under psychiatric care and she's also taking medications. The medication she is taking Abilify 5 milligrams, and that is taken daily, correct?
Yeah.
Daily and prescribed by a doctor?
Yeah.
Do you know how long you've been taking this drug?
3 years.
3 years. I'm going to ask you the same question for the remaining drugs. Sorry if it gets repetitive, but Buspar 15 milligrams, is that also daily?
Yeah.
Prescribed by a doctor?
Yeah.
And duration?
3 years.
3 years. Are all these 3 years?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And all prescribed by a doctor?
Yes.
Okay. The remaining drugs that she is taking is Adderall 10 milligrams, Lamotrigine 100 milligrams. She's currently under care of a physician at Unified Community Health. And that is it for, oh, and she's currently smoking and drinks alcohol socially. Okay, moving on to vitals. Her temperature today is 97.5 degrees Fahrenheit. Blood pressure is 110/70, manual. Respiration is 17 breaths per minute, normal and good, as well as pulse at 78 beats per minute. She is ASA class 2. So for her yes answer, she has anemia, iron anemia approximately a year ago, but blood work in November was normal, and she is in psychiatric care for bipolar disorder and anxiety. For smoking, she vapes daily and cannabis 3 to 4 weekly, and she drinks socially. For her mental state, she is controlling it with medication, and for her medication, there are no interactions with each other, with the main adverse effect being xerostomia and potential risk of GI upset. After reviewing my patient health history video, I've noticed that there were things that I still needed to improve on and things that I did well on. So one of my biggest places where I want to improve is not staring straight at the computer and pay more attention to the patient. As I was going through vitals and medical history, I noticed how I was just staring straight at the screen, asking questions, but except for when I'm asking specific questions about the medications. Another thing that I would like to improve on is making a more professional conversation. I was kind of rushing through my medical history and vital signs, but if I just take a couple seconds to avoid saying so or like and excessively, then it would create a more professional appearance. And just to slow down in general, I feel like it will help the patient as well. I mean, nobody wants to like talk super fast. One thing that I feel like I did well on was asking about the medications that my patient was taking. I asked questions such as, how long have you been taking this medication, and were you prescribed by a doctor? And it was just to double check that they were taking the medication for its intended use and it was prescribed by an appropriate source. Another thing that I think I did very well was, I guess my tone. I maintain a confident tone. I didn't go in monotone, and I think that kind of helped with the patient response and feedback. Things that I would like to add are asking more specific open questions about the patient's medical condition. For instance, the patient states that she has bipolar disorder, And I believe it would be very useful to ask about like family history, how are they currently feeling, and if they have any particular triggers that they're aware of. I know a common trigger is like not getting a good night's sleep. Along with the anxiety, maybe I can ask about potential causes like environmental factors such as work or home environments, etc. And I think another good question to ask people with anxiety is like, how do you typically go about, or what do they do when they are anxious? And lastly, I realized that I just skimmed over like cannabis news. She states that she uses cannabis 3 to 4 times a week, but I never asked any clarifying questions about how much she's taking. And same goes for alcohol. She drinks socially, but I didn't ask how much she typically consumes when she consumes alcohol. Another improvement that I see in the video is taking the opportunity to educate my patient on adverse effects. A common adverse effect among her drugs is xerostomia, and I think it would be very beneficial to the patient if I mention ways to treat xerostomia, such as moisturizing gels or xylitol gum, or anything that stimulates the salivary glands. Another adverse effect is GI upset, and I could have educated her on what foods to avoid a potential GI upset, such as spicy foods or foods that are more acidic and such. Finally, I think an approach that I would take in the future is to ask questions to allow the patient to tell their story about their medical conditions, especially since this was my first time encountering those medical conditions. I felt a little lost and was kind of reading a script. And so if I were allowed to let the patient tell me about their experiences and then formulate my questions based on that, and possibly even offer some advice with their permission, of course, it would show that we care about their current condition and that we're not robots just asking the same questions over and over.